Oh, I just ruined it. Oh, okay.
All right. Well, welcome to Whiskey Tango Talks. Today, my guest is Mr. Donald Gray. First off, man, good seeing you.
Good seeing you
It's
too.
been a hot minute since we've had an interaction together, man. So you used to work with me, and through work, just kind of found out more and more about you. You gave a shout out to me, and you wanted to come on the show.
Oh, absolutely.
You got quite an interesting story that I have not heard yet, so I'm excited, just as anybody else would be, to hear this.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. And you're looking like the Hulk around
This guy. So you wanted to come on to discuss what I think you originally told me was black on black crime,
Right.
and your issues and involvement with your two shootings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, it's something that is being played over and over again through the media. And, you know, a lot of these things are isolated events, and we get that. So, you know, I was like, what better way? I want to tell my perspective, just like everyone else. And I agree with a lot of things that are going on, and people don't know exactly what's going on. All they see is an unarmed man, and then they run with it. They have to look. There's always a story behind everything, so it's pretty good.
Right. All right. Well, let's just start with where are you from?
I was born in Las Vegas, Nevada, but at the age of 8, I moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I say I'm from Tulsa because that's where I grew up, where I went to school,
Yeah.
where I got my first fight, first girlfriend, everything. So
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay. So I'll just let you take over from there, man. Where do you want to start with your story?
Oh, man. You know, there's a couple stories that, you know, I love looking at the news and seeing positive things, but unfortunately in the world that we live in today, a lot of negativity is, you know, shown without, you know, the story behind it. So basically, I was watching a story one time about, you remember that Ferguson, what went down in Ferguson?
Yeah.
You know, we had all the riots in Ferguson, Missouri about Mike Brown getting shot and killed. And I'm not going to lie, I was upset. Okay, what happened this time? But when you look at the backstory behind all that, you know, it's not like the man left the store that he strong-armed robbed. And then when you think about it, you're sitting here and seeing this guy laying on the ground and you causing all this commotion, but you're not understanding like what he did before. We all have family, and if anybody's family had walked in there and this guy did something to them, as far as like Mike Brown, strong-arm robbery, snatching, you wouldn't have as much negativity as to say as, you know, as when a white officer did it. I mean, you know, my nerves are sort of bad. So
No. You're fine.
Yeah.
So you feel that shooting was just?
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Anybody that commits that type of crime, I believe what happened, the officer at the end of the day has to go home. And I looked at the situation, and from my opinion, I know it may ruffle a lot of feathers, but it's my opinion. I do believe that it was justified.
Okay.
You know, and
What? I'm gonna press pause.
okay.
All right. What are your political views? Are you Democrat?
I'm a Democrat.
You're a Democrat.
I'm a Democrat.
But you believe in concealed carry. You're all about guns.
Yeah.
So would you say left centered, or
You know what? Maybe.
you support your local police?
Oh, absolutely.
But you're a Democrat. This is something that we don't hear. So I'm so confused right now.
Well, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Labels today are huge.
Very.
So, all right.
You know, I found out what Republican Democrat was when I was 16, working at a convenience store.
Anymore, really, we don't know what they are.
Yeah,
It's
now
so far gone.
absolutely. But when I was younger, an older black lady walked up to me as I was pushing the cart, and she said, "Are you a Republican or a Democrat?" Hell, I didn't at that point didn't know. I just said Republican because it sounded better than Democrat. And man, she gave me like the biggest chewing out, and like sort of hurt my feelings.
Okay, historically though, being a black man, you know what Democrat Party represents, though, right?
The people, you know. But I do, and people say I should be a Republican because of, you know. Let me back up. One thing that drives me crazy is we affiliate ourselves with a party now based off the person that we like. And sometimes people don't. Like, people are saying conservative and stuff. Like, I know a lot of people support Trump. You know, basically, some of the stuff he do is badass. I'm not gonna lie. Like
I'm gonna throw it to you like this, and I want you to look at it like this. I don't like cutting people off. I'm horrible at that on my show, and I'll be the first to say it. Right, but you're like me. You could say you're a Democrat, but you're really not. A lot of your views are Republican views, right? Here's what it is. When it comes to politics, you and I are Republican. When it comes to social life, we're Democratic.
That makes sense.
When it comes to politics, we have very Republican views. When it comes to your social life, we're Democrat. You don't give a shit what people do as long as they're abiding the law.
Yep, and they're doing
That's really what it comes down to. You're just like me. Trust me. Like it's not, and I'm not trying to like force my ideology or my viewpoints on you, but you sound a lot like I do. You're for gun control. You believe in law enforcement. You support it. When you look at like candidates, it's like, okay, who's the lesser of two evils? Like that's really what you're looking at. But when you look at life in a whole, you're for open opinion. You're for open, concepts. You're for, far left like ideology in the sense of, hey, we could have a social government if it's done right. Like you see what I'm saying? Like
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense. But the way that I grew up, I wouldn't dare. And you know what? Okay. Now that you say that, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because my views are much like Republicans.
Well, politically Republican, socially Democrat.
You know what? That's what I'm gonna start saying from now on. I may even put it in my tag.
I appreciate it. I really do, because the more and more I do this show, and the more I meet people, and I can't. There's no reason why Republicans shouldn't let the gay party do whatever they want.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's no reason. There's no reason why a man should tell a woman what to do with her body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like socially, I'm very democratic in my views, but politically, I tend to lean towards Republican.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Well, take it, run with it. Label it as yours, bro. I'm here. I'm just throwing ideas out there.
And I was having a talk with my friend, and I just wanted to gauge him to see what he knew, because everybody wants to say F Trump, and I get it. They don't agree with a lot of his views. But when I asked the same guy what the Emancipation Proclamation is, he couldn't tell me what it was.
Well, that's just uneducated people. And I beat a dead horse with Colin Kaepernick on this show, but like the whole thing about Colin Kaepernick and the Betsy Ross flag pissed me off, because Betsy Ross was a Quaker. You know what Quakers did? They helped the Underground Railroad and the end of slavery.
Oh, wow.
And she made that flag. And you're going to bash that flag in the time and era that was made by a Quaker. Somebody who helped.
Are you talking about the flag that was on his shoe?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That they were all upset with. Yeah. And it's like, how ignorant can you be? You don't know your history. You're fighting for black rights when, like, you have no fucking ground to stand on.
Wow.
When you really look at the history of what that flag was and who made it, like it's like, yeah, that time and era, that flag might have been in like, one of those things where it's like, oh, that was a bad era in American history. But when you look at what that flag represented, which was America as a whole and the changing of America, right? And the fact that person that made it was somebody who helped in slavery, that group of Quakers.
But Nike agreed with what he said.
Because they're so scared. They're so scared.
What, of lawsuits, you think?
They're so scared of, no, not of lawsuits. They just don't want backlash. They don't want public backlash. So instead, they just throw their hands up and they're like, oh, hey, like, we'll just back it, pull the shoe. We don't want it.
So they started those shoes. They stopped selling them, but they're online for a crazy amount, 6,000, 7,000, and they're selling.
I bet
that shoe, because it's really a limited edition now. If you really think about it. But
I wouldn't. I would wear shoes with that flag on it, but I don't support Nike anymore. I just can't. Like, until they stop the political bullshit and just do what they want to do, I can't support them.
Right.
So, anyways, let's get back to your story. So you asked your friend. He didn't know what the Emancipation Proclamation was.
He did not know what it was. And
That's great.
First thing I said to him, I said, bro, you got to be shitting me. Like, that is something, if not anything. And I told him what it was. And then Can't make this up. I said, do you know who wrote the Emancipation Proclamation? He said Barack Obama. He was the only one that would do something like that.
Okay, and he's American African?
Yes.
And I say American African because he was probably born here, not African.
He was born here.
Okay.
And I was like, bro, Obama wasn't in office. He was a Republican.
Right.
It was Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
So didn't know what Juneteenth was. The Juneteenth celebration. So a lot of people, a lot of African Americans, believe me or not, they're ignorant to the past and what they can do. And I mean, they'll probably be mad that I'm saying it, but it's the truth. Like, of course you're gonna, if you don't know like the history of something, you can't fully give it a full scale of what you think about it. Like when Trump first got elected, I'm not gonna lie, I was one of the one who bashed him. But one thing I do respect about him, that man is not gonna roll over and let nobody like disrespect America.
But why did you bash him?
You know what? Because it's due to my ignorance. Because there's a lot of stuff I did not know. That's what it was. So, sometimes when you go to school, when you leave school, you're like, man, I left all my friends at the old school. You don't think you'll be able to make friends at a new school. But then when you give it a chance and you start hearing things, like everything is going to be okay.
Right.
So with Trump, now, don't get it wrong. I did not vote for Trump, nor probably will I vote for him this time. But I do respect a lot of stuff that he's doing. But then on the flip side of it, if, like, let's just say Obama did a lot of things that he did, you would hear it.
Okay.
For instance.
So the cages, having immigrants in cages, that started with Obama and that administration.
I read something about that.
But now Trump is getting the backlash for it. That doesn't make any sense.
Hey, that's the same. Being a president, you inherit the previous president's situation.
Right.
Like, Obama inherited all the American debt that Bush had.
Yeah.
So he has to take that. But then, I don't know. Trump just, if Obama would have said something like grab her by the pussy, or if he would have said, I'll pay someone's legal bills if you punch anybody that like, he would get so much backlash.
Okay, but he said grab him by the pussy prior to being president.
Right, but
now had he said it in office, different story.
Right.
I don't give a fuck what you do in your social life, bro.
Right.
You want to grab tens of thousands of women by the pussy, be my guest. But when you're in office, you have a certain standard that the American public views that you should uphold.
Right.
And so far, what has he done since he's been in office? I mean, other than his Twitter from time to time, the guy is a pretty stand-up president.
Yeah. I just find it hard to believe that someone that had no political experience, he's never been.
But that's the reason why we wanted him.
You know what?
Can't be bought when you're already a millionaire.
You know what? I think people get that mixed up, and I think Trump has been a politician. He's been a politician pretending to be a businessman for 40 years.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? That's how he gets in there. He gets his business done by playing politics.
And
he knows the game almost better than
And my
anyone.
favorite part is you look in the past and all the pictures and everybody that he supported, all Democratic Party, right? And then the one time that he decides to run for office, they all want to turn his back. They all turn their back on Trump. Why? Because he knew their dirty secrets. He knew who they've paid out. He knew that he's given funds for certain things to Democratic parties so they could get the upper hand and shit.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when that happened and he started receiving backlash, that's why he went Republican.
Oh.
That's just theory. That's just theory. But if you look at the pictures from the past and the people that he supported, people who he voted for, look at him and Giuliani in New York. You know what I mean? Then he was with the Clintons back in the day, and it is what it is. But anyways, we won't beat a dead horse in politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but I respect everybody's views. Sometimes it seems like I don't, but I do. Because at the end of the day, I mean, who am I to tell you who to vote for or what way to feel? Just
Socially democratic, like I said.
right.
Yeah.
Just like some of my friends, like, when all this stuff started happening, when all these police shootings, Black Lives Matter was created.
So I'm so glad you brought this up because our initial conversation about you coming on the show, you actually messaged me and said, I just want you to understand when I come on the show, I'm going to bring up the topic that Black Lives Matter is a racist movement.
It is.
And I was actually floored by the fact that you said that, because coming from a black man, I want to hear this perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have Filipino, we have black, we have white, we have Mexicans, we have all kinds. But you want to sit out there and put Black Lives Matter. Why couldn't you say all lives matter? Now, I understand that you're saying, like, you know, police officers are killing unarmed blacks and our lives do matter too. I get that. I get that, and I can stand for the cause. But when you say Black Lives Matter, that's equivalent to saying white power to me. That's just how I feel. And I put that on Facebook before, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of people gave me backlash for it. It's the honest to God truth. Like, why does your life, that's basically saying your life is superior. Now, I get it. Our lives do matter, just like Mexicans' lives matter, kids' lives matter, disabled people. But we're not going to sit out there. If you were for the people and you just wanted to live.
See, for me, it's the old adage, like when BET came out, right? Black Entertainment Television. You had the white folk on, well, if we had WET, you know, the black community would be all over our ass.
Right.
Same thing with Black Lives Matter. Like, if white lives matter, how do you think the black community would react?
Yeah, exactly. So they would say, oh, that's racist. That's racist. They're saying white lives matter. But come on, man. I'm going to tell it like it is. Because two things. I'm from the streets. I'm from the hood. But at the same time, that's not what I want for my life. I see when you stuck in the ghetto, that's all you see. You have this perspective that white people don't like black people. Like, all cops are dirty cops. But you have the nerve to get pulled over. And if you're halfway decent and don't have any warrants, you want to say, man, why you pull me over? I'm not no criminal. You want them, I say them, my apologies, you want the police to believe that not all black people are bad, but now you're labeling all cops as bad. Like, I just can't get with that. And I'm never gonna say Black Lives Matter. I lost a lot of friends. I got cussed out by a good friend of mine saying, you know what, you done lost your damn mind. And I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you what you want to hear. I have a right from my own view. And if I say saying the word Black Lives Matter is sort of racist, appears to be racist to me, I'm gonna say that. And it is what it is. I mean, that's what I think. That's my opinion.
You want to know what I think it is about you, Don?
What's that?
I think it is that you've experienced life from all aspects.
Oh, I have.
And I think that it's an awakening moment for you.
Oh, it is.
That's what it really is. And I'm not saying everybody that thinks the way you do are woke per se, but because you have a lot of ignorant people that have the same mindset that you do, but for different agendas.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But for you, you grew up in the hood, like you said, but you've gone to college.
Yeah.
Not just one, but two different colleges.
Mm-hmm.
You've educated yourself. So you're looking at it as a whole in a community. You're not just looking at it from a black man's perspective or somebody who's lived in white suburbia now because of college. And
Right.
you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So for you, it's like, hey, man, people are people. Get the fuck over it.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love it, dude.
So, and one thing that drives me crazy the most is when I try to explain to them, like, you have to look at it like this. You have to look at it like this. If you're from the hood trying to sound like, you can't really, I don't believe until you get out the hood, until you're able to experience life, you won't be able to see anything from a different lens than the one that you already have. Like, I was in 2 shootings and they both were black guys. Not saying that they targeted me. Not saying that they came in there targeting me, but this is experience that I have.
All right, let's start with the first shooting.
First shooting happened.
I want to know this,
Okay.
okay? Because I was under the impression it was in California for some reason.
No, they both were in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Okay, tell me what happened.
So I was working at a convenience store, and I was working 2 jobs actually at 2 different convenience stores, one in the day, one at graveyard. So I went in there, asked them for a job. They said, "Hey, we've been robbed 8 times in the last 11 months. If you want the night shift job."
So where's this convenience store at?
It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Paint the picture for me.
Okay,
Tulsa, Oklahoma. What streets?
It's on North Sheridan Street.
North Sheridan.
So
okay.
the only street light there.
So my brother lives in Owasso. So
I've been with Owasso.
Yeah, so I know Tulsa very
Yeah,
well.
totally. Oh, you know Tulsa?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So I was in North Sheridan Street. There's only one light other than the inside the convenience store light that illuminates. So I was in the back of the store sweeping, and then I started reading the gun magazine. I had a gun on me. I had my apron on.
What kind of gun?
It was an Astra A100.
Okay.
An Astra A100. So I was reading this gun magazine, and then the buzzer went off. And then when I looked up, it was a guy with a mask and a gun. So you know those machines that you move around and like a claw comes down and pick up stuff?
Yeah.
So I tried to hide behind that machine and step back because I was going to pull my gun, but he saw me. He walked me to the front of the store. He asked me for money. I gave him the money. Every time I did what he said, he threatened to shoot me. Then he asked for a carton of cigarettes. And I just felt that I needed to do something because he was going to shoot and kill me.
Okay. At any point in time, could you tell if he was Mexican, white, black?
Oh, I knew he was black. He just had he had like a ski mat pantyhose over his face. His nose looked smashed, but you could see his arm.
And so at any point in time, you didn't say nothing to him, like
I just did
racially, like, hey, like, man, I'm black. Why are you doing this to me?
No, because
nothing like that.
obviously that didn't matter because he obviously saw who was in there before he walked in there. So if that mattered to him.
Okay, it didn't matter to him. It didn't matter to you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So he asked me to get him a carton of cigarette after I gave him. So I knew this was my chance to grab my gun, but he had the gun pointed at me, so I don't want him to shoot me. So I dropped one of the cartons of cigarettes, and then he said, "Pick it up," and I was picking it up, putting it in the bag, and I took my elbow and I was pushing my gun up because it was sunk a little bit too deep into my side. And then as soon as he turned to exit the store, he walked out, but he walked back in to shoot me because he said I saw his face. That's the same thing he said. You can read the police report. I pulled my gun. I wasn't really experienced like I am now, and I just started shooting. And I shot him 4 times, but he did not die. I saw him fall on the outside of when the first shot fired, I missed him. Then he ran out the door. Then I just started shooting through the glass, and I saw him fall. So when the cops finally came, I thought he was out there the whole time laying down on the ground. They said, no, he's not there. But there's a car in the back of the store, and it started up. And I was like, well, that's not my car. My car's right there. So right then and there, they knew that he was somewhere around the area. So they got like the helicopters out, and then they started looking for him.
If he shot, he was obviously bleeding, so they had his DNA anyway.
Right. But I wasn't thinking about it too hard like that. I was just wanting them to catch him because I didn't know.
Don't give his last name. What was his first name?
Anthony. Yeah.
So you shot this dude,
Anthony Williams.
Damn.
I don't care.
Okay. So, do you know what kind of jail time did you have to do?
Yeah, I went. Well, the helicopter saw him in a dumpster in an apartment complex. So they shined down the light, and they knew that somebody was in a dumpster. So they called him out. Well, check this out. He was the same one that robbed. I had a neighbor that lived. Well, he wasn't my neighbor. He just lived in the same apartment complex that worked there before.
Okay.
And he's the one that actually told me about the job. He quit because he got robbed. It was the same guy, but they couldn't prove it because I was talking to him. But he was wanted in Texas for armed bank robbery. So he got sentenced to 20 years for what he did to me. And then he had 31 years from what he did in Texas. Yeah.
Gee.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So in reality, you took a criminal off the street.
Well, yeah, if you want to put it that way. I
Come on now. I mean,
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, from that point on, like, and the girl that I was with at the time, she was like, "Why you always got your gun with you? That's just stupid. Why do you carry a gun all the time with you? Like,
That's why
you're never gonna have to use it." And sure enough, that's what happened. Oh, but check this out. She called me later on that day. The news cameras came and did, like, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I think my mom called her, and then she didn't believe my mom. And then she was like, "What's going on?" And I told her what happened. She hung up in my face. She said, "You're a liar," and hung up. And then it wasn't until she saw it on the news that she called me back. Like, I was calling her back. She wasn't answering my call. She thought I was lying about it.
You're not with old girl now?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm just saying, because that would have been a grounds enough for me.
Man.
Bitch, I just got done being
and
robbed.
I did not know he was shot.
Like that?
I did not know he was shot until the police asked me to get into the car and start filling out, what happened. And then I heard on the radio, the female officer, she turned around and she looked at me. She was like, "You shot him." And then I turned around, turned my face away from her, and then I just let out the biggest smile. Like, I was so happy that this motherfucker that just threatened to kill me and come back to kill me, that I actually shot. I just didn't know where he was. Then when he was in the back of the ambulance.
That's what I like about you, dude.
What's that?
You're a real motherfucker. You
Most
smiled.
I did.
Because in reality, most people that get done in the incident having a gun, because I want you to know, I've pulled many triggers. I've served with people that pulled many triggers. and the effect that it has on people. For you to sit back there and smile, thinking to yourself like, "Fuck that dude! He tried to kill
Absolutely.
me. I got him." And the fact that you're able to smile tells me that you're a real motherfucker. You're not deranged. You're
No,
not
not at
crazy.
Not at all.
You're somebody who wanted to go home that day.
Yep, and by all means necessary.
Yes.
By all means necessary. So when they walked me to they actually walked me to the ambulance, and as I was walking, I had to identify him. Yep, that's him right there. And it was crazy because when I went to court and I had to testify against him, there was a kid I went to school with. Can't even remember his name, but that was his dad.
Oh.
And like, man, he was sitting there the whole time, and I was like, I can't remember, dude. But I remember we were always cordial in school. And as soon as court let out and I walked out, he walked up to me and he shook my hand. I'm like, man, good to see you. Like, maybe he was there just to see what was going to happen with his dad, but at the end of the day, he didn't hold no ill will towards me. And I mean, and even if he did, I wouldn't have cared because at the end of the day, this man put my life. I was making money trying to provide for myself. So I can give two fucks what happened at this point.
Right.
Then you fast forward 6 years later, I was on tour actually with the group, and we had came home.
Oh, for people that don't know the group.
I was Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Okay.
I was working with them. I was on tour with them, and then
What did you do for them?
road managing.
Oh, okay.
I did merch. I was in charge of all kind of things. So
Okay.
I did a lot of good stuff. But so I came home. The Iranian guy that owns the store, he called me. He's like, "How come you don't ever come see me?" And he's like a dad to me because I worked for him at a convenience store. Remember I told you I worked at 2 convenience stores? Well, I worked him for the day shift from 99 to 2004. And he was like a father to me. I always go visit him. He said, "Asshole, come and see me." I said, "Sure enough." But 9 months before that, I had a security company out in Tulsa, and I had a contract with a low-income housing apartment complex. And the Tulsa police came out there, and they started chasing the guy from our property. But since it was my security company, we all ran. He ran into a Subway. They arrested him. We looked in the trash, and he had a gun in the trash. So he ended up going to jail. He was a felon, and he ended up going to jail. So fast forward 9 months later, I was in the store visiting. He's like a father figure to me.
Yeah.
The Iranian guy. I said, "You know what? I'll be back in town tomorrow. I'll come and see you." Went in there, seen him. The guy walked in. The first thing he said is, "Oh, police ass nigga." He's like, "Yeah, you want to come?" Just came at me. Now keep in mind, I knew this dude had a reputation of shooting people, had a reputation of fighting people and everything. I said, "Man, go on about your business." So he had a big white boy with him too. And then he was like, shoot him, cuz. That's what the white boy said. So I looked and I scanned the white boy's waist. I didn't see anything. But when I looked at the black dude's waist, his name is Travion Bird, I looked at his waist, I saw a butt sticking out. So I knew right away he had a gun. So I said, "Hey man, go on about your business." So then I pulled my gun out. And I had my gun in my hand, and I told him, I said, "Bro, go about your business. Leave me alone." And he kept on saying, "Yeah." He said, "I'll kill your ass." That's all he kept saying is, "I'll kill your ass." And then I said, "Hey, bro, if you
What was the heat about, though? Like,
Because
what was the beef about?
It wasn't the beef. It was because 9 months earlier, my security company assisted the police in capturing the guy. He had ran from the police on our property.
Gotcha.
So as soon as it walked in, he immediately started calling me the police.
Hmm.
I mean, that's sort of a compliment to me because that's my ultimate goal in life anyway. But at that particular moment, I was not a cop. So, and I told him, I said, "Bro, if you pull that gun, I will shoot you and I will kill you." Like, I don't know if he thought I was playing. So he's like, "Yeah, man." He said, "I'll blow your brains out." And then the white guy that walked in the store with him said, "Kill him, cuz. Kill him, cuz." That's what he said. Cuz is short for cuz. I guess he claimed himself to be a cripper. I don't know. None of my business. But he grabbed his gun, pulled out, and then I shot him.
Where'd you hit him?
All in the torso. I shot him with an FN 5.7. I just got a 5.7.
1, 2 shots, 3, what?
Oh no, bro! I shot him until he dropped on the ground, and unfortunately, it took 20 rounds to drop him on the ground. And then once he dropped on the ground, I turned around and made sure everybody in the store was a-okay. I was like, "You good? Did anybody else get hit?" Because I'm worried about everybody else. I turned back around. This dude is laying on the ground with a gun in his hand, lifting it up, trying to point it at me. So I took one final shot, shot him right here, and he expired right there on the spot. Man, now with that shooting, it was a little bit different. I didn't coerce it. I kept telling the dude, "Just leave me alone. Go on about your business."
So it's all on camera.
Oh, everything is on. Everything is on HD, the best type of camera system you can have for security. So after I shot him the last time, I knew he was dead. But then the guy he was in was laying on the floor begging for his life. I didn't know if anybody else was going to go in, so I stepped over his dead body, went in my car, got another magazine, came back in, and then I started calling the police. Everybody, by that time, other people had called the police. There's an automotive store right on the outside. They thought it was fireworks at first until somebody was entering the store as I was shooting, and then they heard it was gunshots, so they called the police. So I'm sort of panicking a little bit because I was like, all right, like I saw a gun, you can see the gun clearly right there next to his body, and I just started panicking because you never know what's going to happen. So the police come, they get on the loudspeaker, they said, come out. They was like telling everybody in the store to come out and don't move your. I mean, I get, the adrenaline is rushing. They know they're responding to a shots fired, so they don't want nobody touching no gun. At that point, as soon as I seen the first police car come, I put my gun on the counter, I empty it, I lock the slide back, and then I start walking out with my hands up. They put me in handcuffs, put me in the back of the car. Then they started talking to everybody. Everybody in the store was like, this is what happened. He kept telling them, and he pulled a gun. But you can't go by what everybody says, so they wanted to see the video. But as they were trying to see the video, the white boy that was with him got up and walked out the store and was trying to hurry up and leave. So from the front seat of the police car, I leaned out the window, and I said, hey, don't let him leave. He was a part of this. So they grabbed him and put him in handcuffs. They took us both down to the station. So they started taking my fingerprints, swabbing my mouth. They said, we got to keep your DNA on file, everything.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like I'm panicking. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm playing, reliving this moment back. I didn't even like the fact that I just killed somebody. Like anybody with a conscience is not going to want to do that. And I didn't want to do it. I did it because I had to. And then, so I'm sitting there. So finally they said the detective's ready to talk to you. So he put me in the room. He's like, with the straightest face, he's like, so tell me what happened. And I said, I walked in the store. About 5 to 6 minutes later, he walked in, started calling me police ass nigga. And then walked up to me like he was going to do something. I scanned his waist. I just gave him the story, just like a play-by-play. I said, I saw a gun butt. I knew that was a gun. And I knew he was somebody who carried a gun based off of stories I heard about him and the dealings with him. And then he said, so what else happened? And then I said, once he pulled his gun, I just started shooting. And then he said, were you feared for your life? I said, absolutely. I mean, and I was. So then at that point, he said, all right. He said, is there anything else you want to tell me? I was like, oh, then my heart just sunk because I was like, this is probably where they're going to book me in. So I was like, he pulled his gun. I already had my gun out. I felt for my life. I had my concealed carry permit. I just started playing it out like, I'm a law-abiding citizen. And he was like, all right.
Did he have his concealed carry?
No, he was a felon. He wasn't supposed to have it.
Right.
So then.
Well, I before you go any further, I got an odd.
No, they're two different stores.
Oh, two
different stores. It was two different stores.
Okay. Jeez,
yeah.
Oh, man.
And so he said, all right. He said, so you're not going to be, as of right now, you're not going to be arrested. It's up to the district attorney whether he files charges or not. And he said, here's your keys. You're free to go. And then he said, oh, by the way, his family came to the police station. And I told them I saw the video. He pulled the gun and he got himself killed for doing it. But that wasn't enough. So he just told me to just watch my back or everything. He said, but it's not up to him. But they weren't going to charge me right then and there. I went home, bro. I could not sleep at all. Every time I heard a noise, I was like, okay, is there somebody else trying to break in to come after me for what happened?
Did they let you leave with your weapon?
Oh no, they kept my gun. They had my gun for 2 years.
Yeah, they have to.
They had it for 2 years.
What I thought. Right.
Yeah. So after that, but I had another gun at the house. So after that, I was like, I called him and I was like, anything the district attorney tell you? He's like, no, he's still reviewing the case. So then I did the one thing that if you're in a shooting that's publicized on TV, what you shouldn't do is read the news, read what people comments is on the news. You should never do that.
Okay.
Some people was for me, like, oh my God, yeah, finally get a gangbanger, like get him off the streets. Thank you. Law-abiding citizen finally gets a gangbanger, stuff like that. But then there were some people was like, oh, he's going to jail for the rest of his life. Oh,
so he tripping balls.
Oh man, yeah. So finally, I got the call. That was a fully justified, and I was not gonna face any charges. So I sat there in Tulsa for a while, and then I was like, you know what? Oh, I didn't tell you. I had an apartment. I had just got an apartment here June 30th of 2009, and this happened in May of 2010. So I was coming here once a month, and I'm making good money, having my own security company, so I was able to afford to live in 2 states. And then after that happened, I just moved here full time. And then I was like, never again, never again.
You know what's crazy is people don't realize, like Tulsa, Oklahoma, like you don't think of black community at all. But what's crazy is Black Wall Street.
Yeah. Oh.
Happened in Tulsa.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of people don't.
A lot in the 1920s.
And a lot of people don't know about Black Wall Street, and it was a thriving community of all American Africans in that area, and then one racial issue tanked it all.
Yeah.
There was flourishing black community.
Oh, it was.
Everyone was loving and respectful.
Absolutely.
According to history, you know, it's so fucking crazy to think that all happened in one area.
Yeah, it is. And I'm going to tell you something about Tulsa. People look at Tulsa and like, when I even tell people, they ask me where I'm from, I say Tulsa, they're like, is there black people there? Like, you should watch. The first 48 is always in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That place is sort of inhumane as far as crime. I have a friend that's a crime analyst out there, and she tells me that they compare their crime to Phoenix. And she's like, the city of Tulsa,
really,
per capita, has more crime than the city of Phoenix.
Yeah. I can see that.
It's just crazy.
But yeah, it is crazy.
It is. So, you know, I'm done trying to. I'm not gonna lie. I love being around, you know, everybody. It doesn't matter what your color is. If I have a friend and you're my friend, you're my friend. I don't care what the next person think of you. And you know, that's why when people are wearing these Black Lives Matter T-shirts and say, "Hey, why don't you support the cause and buy one for $5?" I said, "I'm not doing that, man."
Where does that money go to?
That who knows?
You know,
who knows?
That's what. What does that money really go to?
And let me tell you, the best post I think I ever made.
Closer to Mike a little bit first, but
the best post I think I ever made on social media. Is that good?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Is if you say "fuck the police" when someone's coming after you, don't call them and ask for help. Take your killing like a man. Like, I hate when people say that. Don't say "fuck the police" because you're now putting everybody under one umbrella.
Yeah. Okay. So Bone Thugs and Harmony, your cousin, right, is in the group. How do they perceive you wanting to become a cop?
You know, that's all they know from me. They know with me as a guy that got a whole bunch of guns. It's a very respectful thing.
Like, you know, because they have like a kind of mystique about them as a rap group, you know, and early 90s police brutality was at all time high.
Oh, man, it was. And you got to realize they were discovered.
It was bigger back then than it is now, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Especially LA. Fuck,
yeah.
bro.
Oh, yeah, it was. But
Yeah.
you have to realize Eazy-E, the whole NWA,
Yeah.
fuck the police, you know, Eazy-E is the one that discovered Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah.
So, obviously, that's going to trickle on down to them. You know, they have songs about the police and everything. But at the end of the day, people always try to hold them like, oh, they said fuck the police too. But they're grown now. They're grown and married. I can't speak for everybody, but what I do know is those are not their views. Police walk up to them, want to take pictures. They take pictures with them. People grow up. And you know, and I just want to see like all the situation with now it seems like I'm bashing the black community, and I'm not.
No, you're not.
But one thing I do stand with Trayvon Martin. That story. I believe George Zimmerman should have been thrown out.
What pisses me off about that is the black community targeted the white community. George Zimmerman isn't white.
Yeah.
His name is white as fuck, but
right.
he's not white. He's of Cuban or Hispanic descent. And that dude had a history of violent crime.
Yeah, he did.
And when he got let off, it was one of those kind of weird things. Now, I will say this about the Trayvon Martin issue. The Trayvon Martin that got shot that day, right, was not the Trayvon Martin they portrayed.
Oh, it never is.
On
never,
the media.
I'm sure
they gave like an 11-year-old picture of Trayvon Martin.
Right.
Trayvon Martin was a big fucking dude.
Right.
19-year-old or however old he was. They said he was like a close to 280-pound man. So
really?
yes. So when that man, not the child they depict in the fucking pictures they posted all over the media,
right,
grabbed a hold of Zimmerman, I don't disagree. Zimmerman was at fault, but Zimmerman put himself in that position.
He shouldn't have been following him.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So justifiably, Zimmerman was wrong. But if I had a 280-pound fucking man attacking me, I'm going to shoot too. But motherfucker, you shouldn't have been following him in the first place.
Yeah, just because he's black and he lived in the neighborhood.
Exactly.
That's what.
That's where I was pissed with the whole black community targeting white. It's like, dude, look at George Zimmerman. He's Hispanic. His name is white, but he is Hispanic. Like, I don't know if it was Cuban.
Well, in the black community, if you're not black, you're white. Or if you're not black or Mexican, you're white. I swear. What? I swear. That's why if you ever, that's just how they look at things. It's not right. It's not right, but that's just how it is.
I have a friend named Nick Cormier down in Louisiana. He's like a 10th black.
Right.
You look at his family though. Everybody that surrounds him, they dark as you. But like, and for someone to call him white with the upbringing that he has, that's so disrespectful.
Right.
You know. So for me, I'm just like, I don't understand it, man. Like, your family, your kin.
Yeah, I mean, if people just, everybody got good in them, you know. So I mean, I don't care about who I piss off anymore. I'm not gonna go for a cause just because it's my people that's for the cause. Like Reverend Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, those two. Let me tell you, to me, they're racist
by far.
Oh, they have to be, because look, if you're gonna be an activist, don't be an activist for just black people.
What about Spike Lee?
I don't like Spike Lee, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Crazy Bone was in New York with one of our other buddies, and then my buddy walked up to him and was like, "Hey, Spike Lee, I'm a big fan," and then tried to shake his hand. He basically told him to get lost. Like, man, let me tell you something.
Pompous, man, arrogance,
dude.
That's what fame does to people.
But the thing is, Spike Lee, to me, he ain't really shit. Like, that's not the director that I'm seeing. That, like, he done some stuff back in the day, but he's not relevant to me.
Right.
So if I saw Spike Lee, I wouldn't walk up to him. Number one. Let me tell you somebody that I always did see. Like 3 weeks in a row, I saw Garth Brooks. Like, so check this out.
He lives in Oklahoma.
Well, at that time he did. I don't know if he still does.
No, he still does.
Okay.
He's got a big ass range.
Yeah, he lives in Owasso, as a matter of fact. He lives in Owasso.
Trust me, my brother tells me.
So I walked into a AutoZone and I saw a guy there, and I was like, no. That's not the first time I saw him. The first time I saw him was at a Walmart. They had like flat screen TVs playing with Garth Brooks concerts, and then they were selling the DVDs. So they had like a preview. We're watching. So I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm there for like 5 minutes, and the guy walks up to me. He's like, "Man, that Garth is a pretty amazing guy, isn't he?" I said, "Man, that dude is like a god, man, a country god." He's like, "You listen to country?" I said, "Yeah." I turned up, and it was Garth Brooks. Swear to God, it was Garth Brooks. Then I seen him.
He trolled you.
Huh?
He trolled you.
Yeah, to get some. Then I went to a Coach store in Utica Square.
This is how I know you're gay. No, I'm joking. Coach.
If gay means happy, I'm very happy. Yeah, no, I like people. And then I saw him in the Coach store. And I was like, bro, I keep seeing you everywhere. Then about 4 days later, I saw him in the AutoZone. He was buying grummage for his daughter's science project.
So did he get a restraining order against you?
No, he should have. No, but he told me where he eats at on Wednesdays with his friends at Monterey Tex-Mex.
Oh, really?
He told me, and he literally told me that I should come there the upcoming Wednesday, but I was just too scared to do it. I was like, man, yeah, I should have. Yeah. Garth is like, let me tell you, when you meet somebody that's so down to earth, it makes you like that person even more. And I hate when someone dies. That's when you start appreciating their music. That's when you start following. I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Music is one thing that if you listen to something, it can take you back. Like, you can hear a song on the radio, man, I remember I was in the 6th grade and I was at the jungle gym kissing on such and such, because it's like it's set markers in your life to where that's why I love music. So country.
Yeah.
I got Josh Turner.
Well, we're on music. We're on music. Your phone had Nipsey Hussle on it. You
Yeah.
said you met him. How do you feel about that situation? Let's talk about black on black crime, because that was one of the reasons why you wanted to come on.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about that situation?
I just feel like if the only thing that's really being, and I'm gonna ruffle a lot of feathers, and I really don't care. I'm just being honest.
Hey, dude, this is Whiskey Tango Talks.
So
just be real.
so black life, so black on black crime is way. There's more cases, situations
under publicized.
Yeah, it is, and like the
Over publicized
city-
is white on black crime.
right. Yeah, it is.
How many times you hear about fucking Chicago?
I'm gonna tell you, Chicago has an average of 600 murders every single year. I really do.
And why, if all these, and I'm just going to use this. I'm just going to use this person. I'm not pinpointing anybody. I'm just going to use a big name.
Okay.
Just a big name. I don't want anybody to think I'm like targeting certain people. Okay. If you're so famous and rich, right, and you're Will Smith or you're I won't say The Rock because he tends to really attribute his heritage to Hawaiian, right? But Denzel Washington,
Right.
If you're such a black activist, Samuel L. Jackson, or you want your community to thrive, why aren't you taking your stardom to the streets of Chicago and talking to these young black communities if you're pro-black?
Because either one or two reasons. A lot of people do it for
Where's
the show.
Colin Kaepernick in Chicago? Where's he at? Where's Jesse Smollett? Oh, that's right, faking hangings in Chicago.
You know what? I think he tried to.
But that's my point. Like, why? Where
He set us back. I think Jesse set it back when he talked about
he shat on Rosa Parks.
Oh man!
Like any civil rights leader, like that has passed away is rolling over in their fucking grave because of that motherfucker.
He had
He
people
shit on the people that those things actually happen to.
right.
As well.
Not the stories, but the people that actually have that shit happen to.
He's
Shits
right.
on them.
Yeah.
When I heard they put a fucking noose around his neck and was calling a nigger, I'm like, oh hell no! Find these guys and lock their ass up. That was my take on it.
Everybody's take. When I first heard
Not even blessed black. It was white people too. Oh no, we can't do this.
when I first heard it, I called bullshit. To be honest,
You did?
fucking right away. You know why? It was during that cold vortex, right? Subway, 2 in the fucking morning or whatever it was, right?
Right.
Bro, why are you out in that fucking minus 20 something degree weather going to fucking Subway as a superstar?
One of the biggest shows that was on TV.
As a fucking superstar.
Right.
No cameras caught it that were in the Subway or outside of the Subway. It just didn't seem right to me.
Yeah.
It didn't seem right to me. How many fucking Trump-toting Make America Great Again hats, white people do you see in Chicago too, by the way?
Probably none.
Probably none. Probably none.
Right.
Think about that.
Right.
You're going to tell me just 2 white dudes are rolling around in the middle of the night during the fucking winter looking for a black person to lynch?
I just wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. He said that happened. Who am I to say that he's lying?
Okay.
But I mean, he was. He set us back, and then everybody's rallying together. I called for it. Once we found out that was a lie, I mean, he
His career should be over.
He need to be banned. He should be banned from everything.
Yeah, his career should be
Because
over.
again, you had what I don't like is there is a lot of racism in this world, both every way.
I'm racist against everybody.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to say I'm not racist against one race.
Yeah.
I look at all races like you're a piece of shit, and until I know you,
Yeah, right. Because you don't know. Like if you was on the radio and they were like, "Hey, there was a triple shooting in North Phoenix," and 10 people, you were like, probably was black. There was like, "Oh, a guy got fired, went up to his job and killed everybody." You're like, "Oh, he probably was white." I mean, that is sort of stereotyping, even though it's not right.
Yeah.
But again, he did something, and he should pay for that.
Until I know you and I know your intentions, I don't like you.
And
that's not me being an asshole or me being a quote unquote racist. That's me protecting me and my family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think the first time racism I think America started coming together when 9/11 happened. Everybody was everybody's brother. Everybody loved everybody.
Well, that's what I love about being in the military.
Right.
I didn't view you as black, white, Mexican, Hispanic, Filipino, whatever it may be. You were green.
Right.
You decided to join the military with me, motherfucker. Let's go to war. Let's make sure we come home together.
Right.
Like that's family.
Yeah. Did you know that Tulsa, up until about 5-10 years ago, still allowed KKK to march, and then to march downtown with police protection, and that's their right. Look, who am I to say that you can't say white power or you don't like black people? You don't have to like me. You don't have to like me. You don't have to even respect me because that's you. But if you
sorry, and I'm not trying to be that white soccer mom that you see on social media, chirping for black rights.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck that, dude. Like, fuck that. I'm a white male.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Christian. I am of no religion in any particular fashion. But if I see a KKK rights movement walking down the fucking street, I'm gonna fuck someone up.
You know what? And there was a lot of white people that was yelling at him, "Fuck you, you racist!" That right there. You know what? I really, really, really like. I love when racists can get together and have a cookout with your neighbors and everything. Like that's a beautiful thing. Like I love everybody. I don't care if you're white, black, or Hispanic. Just don't try to put my life in harm's way in no type of way.
How old are you?
I'm 38 years old.
I'm 35. I truly believe our generation,
Mm-hmm.
Within let's say 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
40 to 30, right? Our generation is what's bridging the gap for racism. And then the generations below us, they're going to be the ones to unify it all.
I know it is because if you look at it now, there's a lot of interracial couples, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It is. But I mean, racism is going to be what it is. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that the word nigger and nigga is the same thing?
It's rough for me, and the reason why I say it's rough for me is because I feel it was a derogatory term to start with, right? I don't respect a lot of people that use the word, even if it is with the A at the end,
Mm-hmm.
just because of the roots that it has.
Right.
Okay. As a black man talking to another black man, that's your prerogative.
Right.
Okay. But as a black man talking to, say, myself,
Mm-hmm.
and you're constantly calling me a nigga or don't talk to me like that, dude.
Right.
Like, I'm not of that descent. I'm not of that stereotype. I respect you, and the last thing I want you to do is use a derogatory term towards me or in my presence, for that matter.
So to me,
Right.
and this is how I feel, the word nigga and the word nigger is two different words, two different spellings, two different meanings. Okay. So
you're comfortable with white people using that?
Look, I'm not nobody's daddy. I can't control somebody else's mouth. But what I can do is, if you use that word in a derogatory form towards me, then you have to take whatever consequence I dish out to you at that particular time.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you something. I have white friends. My homeboy, matter of fact, let me tell you something. We were at a barbecue at a park, and my homeboy has one of his good friends is white. He was, "What's up, my nigga?" And then he got checked by another black dude. He's like, "Hey, man, you out of your jurisdiction." Meaning, bro, that's your homeboy. You can say it around him, but don't say it around us. So the word nigga was created as it's actually a term of endearment, believe it or not. And you can use it when you're mad. So if you walk up and you're like, "That's my nigga," that just means that's my homeboy, that's my friend, or that's my best friend. I get it. A lot of people don't understand it.
My issue is it's overused.
It is overused.
It's become the word dude, bro.
Right.
And I just and I get it with the black culture, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a white man or a Hispanic man or a Filipino and it's coming out your mouth like dude or bro
Mm-hmm.
or guy or it's not acceptable.
It
It's
is
not acceptable.
now it trickled down to Hispanics. Now they can use it. They use the word nigga. I don't care what nobody says because that's their. But look, if I walked out right now and the dude's like, "Hey, what's up, my nigga?" I'll look at him maybe crazy. I'm like, "What's up?" But if I walked outside and the dude was like, "What's up, nigger?" I'm like, "All right, you need to put your baby down, let's fight or something. No, you're not supposed to sit there. You're not supposed to sit there and say that, because at the end of the day,
You'll go ahead and have you set your groceries down because we're about to go.
like this. So
yeah.
So I tell everybody, be mindful when you use it. Now I try not to use that word at all, because now that I'm done with school, I'm prepping myself to be a cop. And you know what?
So what are your degrees in?
So I have a bachelor's in sociology. I have a associate in corrections and law enforcement technology.
Okay.
So I have 2 associates and I have a bachelor's. So and
where do you want to be a cop at?
Man, I want to be a state trooper. Now that my girl is pregnant,
okay,
my goal was to leave and go move to another state to do that, and hopefully she would come along. But this is her roots, and I'm going to respect it. This is where her family is. Okay. So I'm going to try for Arizona DPS officer out here.
Okay.
You know, the one thing I feel like I can make a difference, and I know that's a cliche when people are starting to be.
It's not a fucking cliche.
A lot of people say that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because can you imagine like getting pulled over and you're like, oh, that's Trooper Gray out there. He's always treated me fair. No need to pull this gun on him and try to shoot him and take his life. A lot of people that get shot, the cops that get shot in the line of duty, you know, it's from people that are scared. That they're going to go to jail. They don't know what to expect because here come an officer, and all of that was because of past things that happened.
I think you need to be a sheriff.
You think so?
Either Maricopa or Pinell County.
Hey, so I think.
But the reason why I say that is because I want you to wear the cowboy hat too.
I will put that cowboy hat on. Hey, I sent Sheriff Lamb telling him that I wanted to meet him.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. Where do you live at? And I said in Arizona. He said, that's even better. Like.
Yeah, you know what? I'll send him a picture after this podcast.
Man.
And, we'll...
Yeah, make sure you put my Instagram handle, because that's what he knows me as.
Yeah, okay.
Man, that guy, I like that guy. Just like when I first moved here, believe it or not, when I first moved here, my goal was to meet Sheriff Joe. I called up to the office all the time, wanted to meet him. I just wanted to meet him. I heard about him all the time.
Yeah.
Just because other people don't like him based off of things, I'm never going to let somebody dictate how I feel about somebody based off their experience with that person, because that's unfair.
Opinions are like assholes.
It is. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
Nah, I just want to live my best life. I don't want no problems with anybody. Like, I'm not the type of person that's gonna sit over there and lay over. I love my black people. I love my white people.
You love people.
I'm just a people person.
My
girlfriend tells me, "Oh my God, you're sitting there talking again." Like, I'll go meet somebody in public and just have a conversation with them, because I feel like I'm a people's person. But I feel like once I become a law enforcement officer, I'm gonna be fair. If I know that you're gonna be trained and you're gonna see things you don't like, you know, I'm gonna do everything that I was paid to do and what I was sworn in to do. I'm gonna protect and I'm gonna serve. And you know, this may not go right with even law enforcement, but if I see some stuff that's illegal, that I know, like, you planting drugs on this guy, he didn't do what you said, like, I'm gonna do the right thing. Like, that's not what happened, because we can't ruin his life. Another thing, and I see why some people are scared of. Right now, I'm completely legal. I got insurance. I can legally carry a gun, but every time a cop get behind me, I don't know what's gonna happen, because based off of experience I had with a Phoenix police officer. Mm-hmm. You know, he pulled me over. He asked me could I search my vehicle, and I said no. He's like, "What do you got to hide?" Absolutely nothing, sir. Go ahead. Searching my vehicle. I said,
so you ended up letting him search?
Yeah. Well, I don't have nothing. He made a point. If you ain't got nothing to hide.
So okay. No. And I was going to bring this up because my producer's about to trip the fuck out. So Robbie was pulled over, my producer, by a cop, and the cop asked my producer, "Do you have a gun?" And Robbie goes, "Is that why you pulled me over?" And the cop kind of looked at him and was like, "Why'd you pull me over? You know, if you pulled me over to ask if I had a gun, that's unlawful.
That's very unlawful.
That's very unlawful. And what'd you pull me over for? Was I speeding? Did I not use my blinker? Was I, traveling too far behind the car? Whatever it may be. You didn't pull me over to ask me if I had a gun. So what does it matter if I have a gun? Right? Like, give me a ticket or don't give me a ticket. Like, but he respects law enforcement. But the fact is like,
Absolutely.
But the fact is, it's like, as an officer, some cops need to be more aware of what the fuck they're doing. And I love law enforcement. In fact, I'm trying to get more law enforcement on this show,
Right.
so we can talk about these topics.
Right.
And I'm so happy that you want to be a cop, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I am, because I think you'd be a great one. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would the first thing out of that cop's mouth be, "Do you have a gun?"
That is bad. Just like him asking to search my vehicle.
Now you created an issue when there wasn't one.
And that's exactly I said all this stuff about black people and how they should respect the cops. But there's a lot of cops create a lot of issues that don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Like I see a lot of these isolated events where the cop escalated it. You know, they want to know why they're getting pulled over. Like, no, you need to tell me why you're pulling me over. You know what? Get out the car. You're not obeying my commands and want to take him to jail. When he was asking the question, that is wrong.
Can I search your car? That was wrong.
It was, but he sort of.
And legally, you could have been like, for what? Well, now I have probable cause. No, you don't. What's the probable cause? Because
But you got to realize, me being a black man, you should probably just follow what they want to do. Not saying that something is going to happen, but it's always going to. It's always going to
Let's
be
talk
bad.
about civil rights for a second then.
Right.
Okay? My friend Garcia, Pedro,
Mm-hmm.
6'4", 330-pound fucking Mexican. He looks like a fucking Mongolian warrior. The dude, he doesn't even look Mexican sometimes. You know, but every time he's pulled over, they ask him to get out of the car, they put him in handcuffs, and they sit him down just to talk to him about a traffic stop.
Wow.
Now, if he really fucking wanted to, because he is very respectful to law enforcement, he has no issues with cops. Every time he's pulled over, that's what happens, because he's that big of a guy. They're just terrified, so they put him in handcuffs. You know what kind of lawsuit he could have against any PD that did that to him? And never once has he caused an issue or caused a problem for him.
Oh, wow.
Right? And I told him, bro, let me explain something to you. I'm with you in a vehicle and they ask you to get out the car and they put you in handcuffs for no fucking reason. I'm telling you right fucking now. I'm videotaping and I'm going to fucking get a lawyer for you.
Right.
Like, that is, dude, he's such a quiet guy, so respectful. What's the need for that? What's the need for that?
Just because the officer feels
Doesn't carry a gun.
And you want to know the sad part? Is if he would have got out the car and would have been like, hey, what did you pull me over for? The cop probably could have shot him, killed him, and got away with it.
That's the other issue. That's
know,
what terrifies me about him getting out the car. Bro, do me a favor. Just keep your fucking hands on the fucking windshield or the dash for me. Don't get out of your car next time. That's what I told him.
Yeah, because
Don't. And if they ask you to reach for something, tell them, hey, call another officer here. Have them go through my shit, because I feel that I'm scared. Like, when they're telling you to get out of the car, you don't know what can happen at that point.
Yep. So you just listen to him. So a lot of 9 times out of 10, if a cop have to shoot you and kill you, and
they're going to consider it justifiable.
It's going to be justifiable. Yeah. It takes a case like that, North Carolina. Well, did you see the one where the state trooper in South Carolina pulled over the black guy, and the black guy, he was like, got out the car, and he's like, he told him basically, like, what were you speeding? He's like, give me your ID. The guy reaches in the car to get him his wallet to give him ID, and he shot him like 4 times. He didn't die. Well, the cop got fired and he got charged, but he's like, why'd you shoot me? He said, because you went back in your car. He said, you told me to get my ID. It's all on camera. Stuff like that. That's a clear-cut case that, oh, he's fucked.
He's a millionaire.
Yeah.
That dude better be a millionaire.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
But
State
then,
of North Carolina just paid that motherfucker out.
But then if without a reasonable doubt, if they believe just with an inch that you possibly could have been a threat to the officer, you know, just like in Mesa, that officer that killed that guy at the hotel.
Bro.
Bro.
That was pure murder.
That was an execution.
That was
he was looking to kill him.
Yeah.
And he beat the charge. So stuff like that runs through my head when the cop gets behind me. So of course they want to do something, search your vehicle. Go ahead, search my vehicle. And then I was smirking. He was like, what are you smirking for? I said, sir, I'm not that type of person. You're not going to find nothing in my car. I would never do that. My ultimate goal is to be where you're at. He was like, well, I'll find something if I want to. Basically telling me he would plant drugs on me. That's what he told me. Like the thing is, and that's why. Oh, it was bad when I went to Oklahoma State University. Stillwater PD, crooked.
What cracked me up
What's that?
is if you at that moment had pulled out a fucking deputy badge and been like, "I'm a cop, dude," and you know what you just said to another officer.
You know what? If
That would have been dope.
Once I become an officer, if I don't think I would even pull the badge out. If they did that, I don't think I want them knowing that I'm a police officer. Depending on what
I'd throw right in your fucking face after
because I don't want them.
Something like that.
I don't want that to be the reason why they leave me alone and let me go. A bad officer is a bad officer, But when I was going to Oklahoma State University, before I transferred back to go to ASU, I have never had a traffic ticket in like 14 years.
Yeah.
And I got pulled over damn near every time. I had a charger. I had some wheels on my charger.
Yeah.
And then they would pull me over all the time. And it's like, man, leave me alone. Messing up my driving record and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Stillwater, they give you that.
They gave me tickets all the time. And I didn't do half the stuff. But what are you going to do? I did deserve one ticket, I would say, because I got busted a U-turn when you weren't supposed to. But, man, all those other tickets, I got like 3 or 4 additional tickets that I didn't do anything. I just went with the punches. But sometimes you just got to let the officer do their job. And I got a webcam in my windshield. And when I get pulled over, they ask me, why is it on? I said, for your safety and mine. It's just for your safety and mine. But I'm going to tell you, Mesa has the coolest cops ever. Mesa, Gilbert, and Tempe has the coolest cops ever.
I would argue Gilbert for sure.
Well, but you know what? I only got pulled over one time. And the guy who pulled me over, he noticed my car, and we hit it off. And believe him, we hit it off on traffic stop. He said, "You know what? I'm just gonna write you a warning." But so that was just one experience. But Mesa, I love that. Escobedo works out there.
Dude, I know a ton of Mesa cops.
Man,
I've never had an issue with Mesa whatsoever.
Mesa's good.
Gilbert, on the other hand, I rode with an MC for a while, and I had gang task force harass the fuck out of me.
Oh wow!
And when I say harass the fuck out of me, to the point where some of the shit they made me do was to try to catch me up.
Right.
And I outsmarted them with a lot of the bullshit they were trying to say to me.
Right.
And it was like, hey, dude, look, I haven't been drinking, and I get what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But until I'm told a directive on what to do, I'm not going to do it. So it's like, hey, we're going to have you walk this line, and then they stand there and they're kind of like looking at me and they're waiting for me to walk in line. And they're like, why aren't you walking? I said, because you didn't say start. Start walking this line for me.
Right.
Right. And then, okay, start walking the line. And then why did you say that? Well, I wasn't given a directive. Why would I do something?
Right. You got to listen to what
you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to catch me up like that. And they did it several other times with certain things. And I'm like, again, I wasn't given a directive. What do you need me to do?
Right.
And so it was just kind of one of those things where that in that moment, that was the first PD that I was just kind of like, okay, fuck these people.
Right.
And that was fucked up. That's how you're going to try to get somebody? Come on, man. I'm being cool with you. You're being cool with me. Why go there? So, I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to give any. I'm going to. When you get pulled over, there's a couple rules when you're black that you should follow. So if you're watching this podcast,
I laugh because I want to hear this.
Listen, first of all, don't hop out the car before he pulls you out. The statute in Arizona tells them that you do not have to let them know that you have a gun in your car unless they ask. If you have a concealed carry permit or if you have a gun in the car. Me personally, if I have my gun in the car and get pulled over, I have my hand out the window. Sir, I'm only telling you my hands are out the window. I have a gun in the car. Just want to notify you of it. I do have a concealed carry permit. I just want you to know that I have it.
No, that's good. Yeah.
The thing that gets people that pisses me off is when they think they become attorneys. Oh, I know my rights. You can't pull me over. You sound so stupid because you don't even know why they pulled you over for. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, when you get pulled over, it may be justifiable. But yeah, just stay in the car. Jumping out of the car will have anybody alert. Be respectful. If they want to write you a ticket, just be respectful because cops want to know. They automatically assume that they don't know who's going to shoot them when they walk up to a vehicle. They don't know who that. So we got to give them the benefit of the doubt. We just let them approach with respect. and then just do that. The thing that I can't see is I saw this thing, the Phoenix stuff, where the police kicked the guy because him and his girl was stealing in the store. Have you seen that? It's the big.
Nah. Dude, I try to not watch all this shit because for every one bad incident, there's 22 good ones.
Right.
You know.
So white people make up 65% of the U.S. population. So if you take 18 shootings, officer-involved shootings shooting black people, I can tell you that number is 10 times more with white people that get killed. People don't understand that because they just look at what you got to have ratings. Like your show, you have to have ratings.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how you make it. So of course, if officer involved shooting, they're not gonna say an officer involved shooting. That is never the title when it's got something to do with a black person. If it's an officer involved shooting with a white, they just say OIS, officer involved shooting. And if it has if it's a black person, it's any type of controversial situation, the title is always gonna read white officer shoots black man because that's what's going to get them their ratings.
Right.
So it's like the news media perpetuates that cycle too, to try to keep racism alive. So news media, so they're at fault too.
Oh, I think they're the biggest contributor to racism and the reason why they do that will go round circle back to politics,
right.
And the Democrat Party can play that bullshit. And they make it seem like they're the fucking saviors, and that's not what it is.
Yeah,
that's not what it is at all. So, what would you? We'll try to wrap it up here with a few more things. What would you say to the black community and the ideology of like this glam rap phase that like kids are kind of circling towards, like being around Bone Thugs and Harmony the way you have been, and what rap used to be compared to what rap is now, and it's all about dollars and bitches and living this lavish lifestyle. And what I see from that, and it's not just the black community, it's the white community too. Now you got kids that think that is what life is,
right?
And they're going out and they're trying to create for themselves in a negative manner because they don't have nothing to come up from, right? What would you say? How do we detour that as a black man? What do you think we do?
First of all, people have to have an eclectic array of music. Rap. I get it. Rap is something that a lot of people listen to.
Right now is the most influential music.
And if you walk into any shoe store, they're going to be playing rap. You want me to tell you why? That's because the minorities, they care more about, instead of paying their bills, but having the latest, and it's a proven fact. So
which is fucking insane.
It is. So they appeal. If 15 years ago, Foot Locker wouldn't play one rap music, no rap music or anything when you walked in. When I was in school,
there was no music.
Yeah, but now you walk in, you hear hip hop in a lot of places because it's appealing to these younger kids, and these younger kids is the one that care about fashion. Let me tell you, just because somebody made it in rap, I don't consider what today hip hop. I don't consider that rap.
No,
I love old school rap. Like that was rap.
Yeah,
that was
I'm a Southern rap guy. I love Southern rap.
Oh, you from California? Like the Bay Area?
No.
Oh, Downs.
South.
So name a person.
I love old school mystical.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I love Southern rap. I don't know why.
I like his voice.
I grew up on the West Coast here in Arizona, obviously. And like Tupac, I had Bone Thugs and Harmony, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, that was the shit in our era that was popping.
That was
West Coast rap.
That was hip hop.
Right. That was the shit. But for some reason, when like No Limit hit and Master P all the Southern rappers started popping, bro.
Cash Money,
everybody. Dude, Lil Boosie.
Yeah. Oh, he's like, man. Have you ever worked out to some of his music?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what it was, and then I got stationed in Texas in the military, and it was like I got to see some of these guys, from Louisiana. I go down to Houston, and I'd see some of these Paul Wall.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Paul Wall
I'm such a fan of Southern rap, and I don't even know why. Like, that's not even my niche.
Right.
Like, I grew up metal. Like, I grew up listening to fucking Pantera, Slayer, like Aerosmith, Metallica, like, some country here and there, old school Garth Brooks.
My buddy Jamie Adler's brother in Guns N' Roses. So yeah, he's in it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so weird. Like, that's the shit I grew up on, And for me, just to all of a sudden like hear Southern rap, and it just changed my view of what the rap game was. It was like, for me, I was like, what the fuck? And I think that's why I gravitate towards Yellow Wolf,
right?
Because he's an eclectic artist.
Yeah, I'm gonna download his album.
I'm telling you.
I just downloaded. I actually paid for U2's album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I hate U2.
Hey, look.
It's like
I love
like
everything.
U2 is like the dude. I don't like the Beatles.
Oh man.
I don't like U2. And here's another one I don't like. I don't like Nirvana.
What?
I can't stand them.
Smells Like Teen Spirit is my anthem.
It's a great album. It's a this guy.
It's
a great album. It's a great album. But it was over exaggerated due to his death.
Yeah.
And I don't
think so?
Yes, by far. I could name. They bridged the gap for an era for a lot of young men and women because of grunge rock in the 90s, and I feel like that was the early 90s emo music.
Yeah, but Kurt Cobain, man, I didn't appreciate him until after he was dead, and that's what I hate about not. So that's
there's way better lyricists than Kurt Cobain.
Man,
there's way better lyricists than Kurt Cobain. He was to me he was a modern day Jim Morrison.
Right.
Better lyrics than Jim Morrison, but that's all he was. He was just a fucking drunken buffoon. That's Jim Morrison, and Kurt Cobain was just a druggish buffoon.
I think if you get that much attention, popularity, and money at a young age, it's gonna mess you up no matter who you are.
Dude, we just said this during our bro podcast. I said, how do you live with being 20 years old and being that famous?
Like John Jones, the UFC fighter,
Mike Tyson, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, look at he got a tattoo on his face now.
You can't have that much money and that much clout.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Justin Bieber to fall off the wagon,
man.
I can't wait for that
Well,
one.
that's because nobody
getting cut with a train
in this life, nobody really knows what they're doing to begin with.
Right.
Let alone when you're fucking 20 and then you're given the world and no boundaries and
Nothing.
you're given every exception.
That's why Miley Cyrus is all fucked up. That's why Taylor Swift is becoming more fucked up.
Hey, did you start listening to Old Town Road by Lil Nas?
Not at all. I can't fucking stand that song.
I love it. Billy Ray Cyrus added this twang onto the album.
No. I get it, but just not a fucking fan of that song. And like people would sing that shit knowing that I like Southern rap and like Southern rap artists. Like, do you know who Ryan Upchurch is? Oh, son, I'm gonna fucking educate you on Ryan Upchurch. Ryan Upchurch is the hillbilly of hillbillies, and he can rap like you would not fucking believe.
Bubba Sparks is one of them too.
Better than Bubba Sparks.
Better? Okay, I want to say better than, you know who Little Dicky is?
Yes, he's like Little Dicky, but country as fuck.
I want to hear this.
Oh, you know what? As soon as we wrap it up, we'll put it on. Because we can't have music on here unless we have the rights to it. So, but yeah, man, I just think like music is such an influential thing. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe I think we need someone to collectively come together.
I think that Old Town Road did that.
You do?
I believe it bridged the gap a
little
little
bit.
bit.
Out gay, it definitely bridged the gap.
Yeah. But the thing is, I remember when I was a kid, when we knew a kid was gay, we were like, get away from, like, we exiled him. No. I went to a gay wedding, and let me tell you something. Me and my girl, we went to a gay wedding, my childhood friend, and it was the best wedding I ever been to. It was super exciting. Like, people were dancing. It was the most lit anything that I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And still to this day, I talked to her. I was like, man, I can't believe like it was that much fun. And he asked me, are you going to come to my wedding? And I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I come? I don't care that you're marrying another man. Look, love is love. And I don't, who am I to say anything? I got my own problems to worry about. But it was the best thing I ever been to.
So the last podcast we did, we had a Christian, his name's Major Jude on IG. Mm-hmm. He's gay. And I just told him, hey, dude, look, I want you. He had an issue with what I had posted on social media about Gay Pride Month.
Right.
And I'm like, look, dude, I don't care that you're gay, but why do you need to broadcast that? Right. That's what my issue with Gay Pride Month is.
Right.
Why do you need to broadcast it? What you do in your bedroom isn't nobody's business. If you're gay, dude. Nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody cares nowadays.
You know how I look at it now?
What?
Juneteenth.
Okay.
Is a celebration, and a lot of people African Americans celebrate it, but they don't know why. It just signifies the abolishment of slavery.
Okay.
So that's something that was set aside for us. Then you got Cinco de Mayo for the Mexicans.
That's
so
fine.
I don't have a problem with gay pride.
No, I don't have a problem with Gay Pride Month. I have a problem with the way that they push it. You're going to go out in the middle of the street with fucking fishnet stockings on as a man and wear a thong and fucking have nipple tassels and you're throwing a fucking rainbow flag around? For what, bro? Right. For what? Why do you need to be that eccentric to be gay? You don't. You don't need to be that eccentric. And the fact that you guys have these 10 and 11 and 12-year-old fucking kids that are marching this parade when you got another man's ass cheeks in front of them, that's a form of pedophilia, and that is a fucking problem.
That right there,
that is a fucking problem.
I can see that.
You're subduing these kids to these gay pride events, and you're putting women out there with their tits out. You're putting, call it fucking feminism all you want. You're a lesbian. You're proud of it. I get it. But there's kids around.
Right.
There's kids around.
Right.
You got to stop.
You have to be mindful.
Right there, right then and there. As a man, if your fucking one testicle's hanging out because you decided to wear a thong, you're now a registered sex offender because that 12-year-old just had to be subdued.
But no cop is gonna walk up to and do that because they don't want that backlash.
That's my issue, though. That's my issue with Gay Pride Month.
Right.
Other than that, celebrate accordingly. Do what you want. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're gay. But why do you got to go eccentric like that? That's a fucking problem. Right. Nobody cares that you guys are gay anymore. It's 2019. Mm-hmm. We love you for who you are, people. Stop with the fucking shit like that. Like these transgender kids now. Mm-hmm. These people dressing them up and putting them on magazine covers. Like, dude, the kid's 11 years old. Why are you sexually objectifying a young man?
You shouldn't do that.
Who wants to be a woman later in life? That's a problem. That's a fucking problem.
So my brother, he's now 23 years of age. He's gay. When he was 1, I told my mom that he was going to be gay. It just his mannerisms, everything was feminine. And 14 years later, when he was 15, we found out. I just sent him a friend request for his second page. His name is his second page is Iman. He calls himself Iman. He dresses up in drag. That's still my brother. I don't have no ill will towards him. I'll support him. I like his pictures at his drag shows because I feel like he needs that support.
Because you know what?
Why is that?
Because you're a person of character.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's all it is, dude. Like I said, you can accept that. So 3 years ago, I'm not the person you're talking to today. It took meeting somebody who was fully gay, had no clue he was gay, right? Mm-hmm. I had a conversation with this guy for weeks on end. Every time I saw him in the gym, we talked, had a good time. One day he shows up with this guy, right? They're working out, and then I see a kiss. I'm like, oh, you didn't know I was gay? That's what he said to me. It's like, no, I didn't. It's not a problem. That's what I told him. He goes, oh, well, we're not like your typical faggots. We don't celebrate that shit. We're just gay. And like at that moment in time, so I was like, oh shit, like.
So to go back to the nigga word, when gay men call each other faggots, it's the same thing. Yeah, same thing. It's just a term of
I found that out.
Yeah.
And I had no
or when a white person call each other cracker or you redneck or something like that.
Well, hillbilly and redneck are probably the furthest I go. But redneck is actually a term from West Virginia. I'm going to educate you here a little bit.
I don't know.
Redneck is actually a term from West Virginia where coal miners fought against government. Uh-huh. They wore red bandanas on the back of their necks. Oh. And they fought for their civil rights to get better pay and health care and shit like that. And that's where the term rednecks came from.
Why? Because they were all white or something?
Well, no, they weren't white. They wore red bandanas. Oh. Even black guys that worked the coal mines back then wore red bandanas. Oh. And they were dubbed as the rednecks.
How did they associate that with white people then?
Because they were working class citizens.
Okay.
And back then, like, the blacks were still kind of on that threshold where racism was around, but it wasn't around. But if you were a worker and you worked your ass off, white or black, and you were a coal miner in West Virginia, and you wanted to stand up for your rights, you wore that red bandana around your neck. Okay. And that's where the term redneck came from. And it just kind of transitioned through the years as, boom, you're a redneck. You're a hardworking motherfucker. Okay. And then it became this derogatory term when, you got the toothless motherfucker down there in southern, Alabama.
So anybody that worked hard Do you have to work in a coal mine?
No. But that's just where the term came from.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a group of people who fought against a political tyranny, pretty much.
Okay.
And they fought for their rights, and they lost. But it was such a fight that they couldn't go unnoticed, and they got their rights. So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Man, it was a
Little education here.
okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm a dumb motherfucker, but every now and then I know a little something.
Okay, he's kicking that knowledge.
Yeah. Well, is there anything you want to wrap up with, man?
Man, I just want to say, man, it's good seeing you.
Great seeing you.
Great seeing you.
Yeah.
And I have a child on the way that'll be here in January.
Congratulations, boy or girl.
We don't know yet. We're gonna have a gender reveal on
Don't
August 3rd.
do a gender reveal.
Well, I don't have the. You know, when when a woman says,
so you know the fires that started here in Arizona.
we saw that. We saw that in the desert, right?
Yeah, you know what happened?
He got arrested, right?
A gender reveal.
Yeah, I know, for a gender reveal.
Yeah, that's what started these fires.
Yeah.
Out here in Arizona, yes, a gender reveal.
Yeah, it went.
Woodbury one?
Yes.
Yeah, it went south, but ours is not going to be that. That was a little extreme.
Yeah. They're all extreme in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Don't tell my girl that because she believes that how she wants it.
Is your
how
girl white, black, Mexican?
She's Mexican and Cuban.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fat ass.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to say it. I'm just taking a guess. Come on.
In a good way.
We've been together almost 6 years, so
That's awesome.
yeah, she's amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You got a name if it's a boy or a girl?
If it's a boy, it's gonna
Derek Jr.?
It's gonna be
Cool.
it's gonna be Donald Jr.
Yeah, DJ Derek Jr.
Yeah. Well, it can't even be Junior because I can't name it Junior because I'm a junior, right?
Yeah, so it'd be the third.
It'll be the third.
Donald third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Donald the third. I don't know what I'm gonna call
Hey,
him.
which is awesome, man. If you have that opportunity, I would.
Oh yeah, I feel like I want to honor my dad that way. You know,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That's the reason why she says she wants it to be a girl because she don't want it to be Donald. So I mean, it is what it is.
It's like, baby, I love you, but your name? Fuck your name.
Yeah, it is. and I understand. Her name is Michelle. So I mean, she.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just as
She's
common.
Cuban, she's Cuban and what?
And Mexican.
And her name is Michelle.
Michelle.
That is a white ass name for a Cuban Mexican.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's something about the 80s, man.
Yeah, I guess.
My mom, we have all my brothers and sisters.
So is she gonna name her Michelle if it's a girl?
Oh no, she's not gonna. If she can't name it, no, absolutely not. She gonna come on.
Your kid is gonna be a mutt, and I love it.
Yeah,
Black, Mexican, and Cuban.
Hey, man. 500 years from now, we're all going to be one race. So,
Yeah.
motherfuckers,
You know, if you don't go with
get on
Donald,
with it.
if you don't go with Donald Jr. or the third, go with Dorbert.
What?
It's an inside joke. Me like,
Oh, okay.
No, I'm fucking with you. Nah. So if it's a girl, what was the name?
We still planning. I like the name Dior, Dior, but she's like, no, that's ghetto. Which it may.
Well, when you name your baby Lexus and it looks like a Mitsubishi, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just, I get where she's coming from, you know.
To be perfect.
Don't name your kid Gucci.
Yeah, no, it won't be Gucci, Versace, or nothing like that. No, it's gonna be a name that's not gonna get my kid beat up. So
I love it. And so, well, on Whiskey Tango Talks, we usually do a joke segment. You got a joke for us?
Yeah, I mean, I can. Okay, I got one. And this is corny.
No.
Corny.
That's what we love.
Okay.
We love corn.
So, what did the baby corn say to mama corn?
What?
Where's popcorn?
See, that's the shit we like.
Right.
We like dad jokes,
Yeah.
and you're about to be one.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop that cycle. I'm gonna be in my child's life.
Thank you.
You know, because
I live the same cycle.
Yeah.
Single mother, raised 3 boys. We adopted one when my mom had 2.
Mm-hmm.
She worked 3 jobs. My biological father served in 4 life sentences, and nobody taught me how to be a man. Yeah, I kind of learned as I've gone along, so I appreciate that mentality.
yeah, in the African American community, that's very, very, very common too.
Yeah.
You know, for your dad not to be in the picture. And if you think about it, every African American that I know that live with their both parents and have their dad in their life have never committed a crime, has always been this upstanding person. Now, may have went off track somewhere, but never nothing like being in the street selling drugs. Because, you know, as an African American, you're supposed to fear your mom. like what your mom at anybody. You feel my mom, man. My mom was crazy.
Yeah.
I tell my mom all the time. Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I'm from, is where Quick Trip was established from.
Established. Yep.
So back in the day, they had it, even to this day, a safe place. So if you felt like you weren't safe, any type of reason, your parents, or you can always go to them. They would give you a free soda, and then they'll call the cops on your behalf. Every time my mom threatened to beat my ass, I would go up there like, "Hey, let me get a Mountain Dew." Yeah, this bitch is crazy. She. But in the 80s, when you got your ass whooped, the cops didn't care.
No.
You can get beat, stomped out, and it was never an issue.
No.
But I told my mom now, if she beat me the way she did back now, she'd be in jail. She'd be under the jail.
CPS be all over that.
Man.
Yeah.
Man. So.
But then again, you wouldn't be the man you are today.
Absolutely.
So the mass whoopings need to occur.
Yeah. My mom had a set. She was like, you touch anything, that's 125 licks.
Oh,
yeah, my brother. My mom beat him. I walked into a Sears one day. I know we got to wrap it up, but let me tell the story.
No.
And she said, don't touch shit. That's what a lot of black mamas say. Yeah. Don't touch shit when you want to hear it. If you ain't got the money, don't touch it. I went and saw this ring display, and my brother said, you better not touch that, because mama said, if you touch it, I'm going to tell her. I said, I don't give a fuck. And I put my hand on the ring display, and the whole display just and fell on the floor. I got sick immediately. I just knew that I was in a lot of trouble. She turned around, and he's like, Mama, he pushed it over. You told him not to touch it. I told him not to touch it. He touched it.
Your brother dined you like
yeah, he did, man, bastard.
He couldn't have said he knocked it over by accident, Mama.
Nope. Because when we were kids, we thrived off of each other getting beat. As a matter of fact, when my sister got beat, I used to be outside the door dancing to the beat of her getting her ass whipped, or my brother. Bro, it was like hatred.
Okay, I gotta tell you the story. So I had a friend named Ashba, Naeem Ashba Nesbitt, right? Uh-huh. But everyone called him Ashba because us white folks suck at Naeem. Uh-huh. His dad was from the Caribbean islands. His mom was straight over off the boat, Africa, like dark, right? Uh-huh. Dad was black, but he was like Caribbean black. He had that light skin tone to him. Dad was crazy as fuck. I'm talking, this dude put his hand under a lawnmower to relieve some grass. The blade came loose, chopped off 3 fingers. Like, he was just crazy as fuck. He duct taped his fingers, never went to the hospital. That's what kind of, right? Dang. So one day we come home from school, and Solomon, Ash's brother, got all fucked up at school, got in some trouble, and he said, "It's okay, boy. Guess what we're going to do? Mama's going to pop that popcorn, right? And we're going to put on a show for the entire family and your friends that are here, because I'm going to cut that ass." And I had no clue what was going on, but I was terrified. As a little white kid, I was terrified. And I watched Solomon get his ass with a belt for a good 10 minutes.
Why do you think?
And I was told, "Sit the fuck down. You're not leaving. You make a mockery of this boy."
Yeah. and that's why I say a lot of your serial killers are not black to this day.
Yeah.
They got their ass beat.
Yeah.
Like, we were scared to do certain things. You know, when those street lights went off, you needed to
I was scared to leave the fucking house. I thought I was going to get my ass whooped. It wasn't even my dad.
Yeah. that's how it be. But times have changed now. So these kids need their ass whooped.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
You know, I had one kid ask me when I buy him some cigarettes, and then he was like, "Fuck you then." When I told him no, I'm like, "I'm not supposed to do that." He's like, "Fuck you." I was like, "Man, go on about your business." And he was like, "What, you want to square up?" When I had to think, you know what, I have this dream career that I really, really want. Yeah. And I know that this will fuck that up to the highest extent.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, man? There was a way. There used to be a time I would never turn away. Like, I had to say something. I had to get the last laugh, and or say something crazy. But now it's not even worth it. Now, and the fact, as soon as I found out I had a daughter, like, it doesn't matter about. I found out about her when she was 2. She's gonna be 19 next month. And then I was like, okay, I need to be this role model for her, but I wasn't able to be in her life like that. Now that I got another baby on the way, I get to be there from the beginning and change diapers. That was robbed from me back in the day. So now every decision I make is gonna be for that child, even though that child isn't here yet. I
congratulate.
I have to be that way.
Seriously, I congratulate.
That's like the biggest gift that I can get. My karma has came back to me and gave me something. Being good to people and everything, I feel like my karma finally came back to me.
Well, if it is a girl, I'll make sure I'm over on her prom night cleaning my shotgun with you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know what? Matter of fact, it depends on how these boys is nowadays. We might just have to play our own music at our house and have her dance 5 feet away from her. They can dance, have some refreshments. It ain't no going nowhere else.
But
Yeah.
we pull an old school, what was it, Bad Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's go. And look, people don't play when it comes to their kids nowadays, man.
No, for real. Well done. Fucking love having you, man. I
Man,
appreciate
it was
you coming out.
fun. It was
Yeah.
fun, man.
You're more than welcome back anytime. In fact, you know what? I'd like to have you on a segment for Bros Roundtable.
Okay.
So pretty much I just come up with topics, and we have different people from different walks of life, and we all just come in here and we debate topics.
Is it sort of like that? What's that black guy and that white go and skip and they go back at it?
Shannon Sharp?
Yeah. No. Well, he's a black activist. He's like, man, that's bullshit.
No.
You know who I'm talking about?
This is us getting fucked up and fun. In fact, have an Uber or your girl ready.
Okay.
Because I know you don't drink, but you might have one on that show.
Okay.
It's a good time.
All right. I'm looking forward to it, man. You got a great setup, and this is going to be the new thing. 2020, this is going to be the #1 podcast. We're going to speak that into existence.
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
Donald, seriously, man. Pleasure having you. I hope you come back.
I will.
Dude, we enjoy your company.
I enjoy
Hey, find us on patreon.com. We're still looking for people to help support us. We're trying to give back to community. We're trying to give back to foundations. You give us money, we buy merch with it. The leftover money that we make from merch, we're giving back to charity. We're trying to do anything we can. Patreon.com. Find us there. YouTube, like and subscribe. Whiskey Tango Talks.
Hit that notification button, too.
Yes, please do. I appreciate
I've
it.
always wanted to say that.
Yeah, fuck, bro. If you don't follow us on YouTube, you're an asshole.
Oh, I am.
All right, that wraps up for Whiskey Tango Talks. I want to thank my guest, Donald Gray, once again. He is at DGray the Great, _the Great on IG, correct?
It's at D Gray the Great. No underscore.
No underscore.
No underscore.
All right, find him on Instagram. Just do us a favor. Let us know what you think of the show. Like and subscribe. Comment if you want. We love it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Peace.
Man.
Yeah.